Good morning. Welcome to this shared space on YouTube that I call Natural Connection with a Shaman. Today we're going to talk about today's numerology and some balancing energies, sattva energies in astrology. Um, Something I'm laughing about right now. If you can't hear, when retrograde planets and energies of contrast are taking place in astrology, the deranged and disturbed have manic episodes. And you can always tell if you're an astrologer or if you're attuned to energy, right? Basically, if you're attuned to energy work, you know about astrology because you can't call yourself an energy practitioner without knowing what's going on in the sky. You may be able to move energy in the body through like Tai Chi, but to balance the mind and remedy the psychological, emotional, and disturbed behaviors of the psyche, one must learn about astrology because it puts in detail everything that you are experiencing. Now, it's not in control of you, but it is a mirror, which means just like as I'm in this mirror for this TV camera right now, if I move this way, so too on the screen does it move. Astrology is the same thing. It's a mirrored dimension of our reality. So we're going to get into this because there's a lot of healing aspects that can be beneficial to your life today in the astrology. So today is Soul Day. Soul meaning the sun. Sol Dog. Dog is Proto Germanic for day. Sunday. 8/17/2025. 8 plus 1 plus 7 plus 2 plus 2 plus 5 equals 25. You add that together and you get 7. 2 plus 5 equals 7. So 25. 25 in the occult represents strength gained by experience through strife and the benefits from observation, evaluation, and support, cause and effect. Okay, so number 25 represents um, gaining strength from your experiences in life by observing them and reflecting on it so that you can elevate your mind and find support. No coincidence, we're working with Gushan. One moment. Okay, sorry for that little momentary break. I mean, you didn't recognize it. It's all right. Anyways, okay. So we're working with Gushan, observing experiences life caused by strife and gaining benefits from that observation to support and evaluate our consciousness. Cause and effect. The number 20 or the number 7 in the occult practices stands for blessed and sanctified by God, spirit over matter, and occult intelligence, which means a combination of faith and intellect. That's what occult intelligence stands for. So, number 7 is lunar in vibration. So, the moon represents the unconscious portion of the mind, the sun represents the conscious portion of your mind. Conscious is what you know you think. Unconscious is your unrecognized patterns and behaviors. So that's what we're working with. Again, I'm going to go fall back on working with Gushan. And then it's just a coincidence. The date adds up to these numbers. Through occult intelligence, we find the meanings of these numbers, and you see clearly I am showing you that the astrology is a mirror dimension of our human existence. The banging by the deranged at my door. I don't laugh in a joking manner. I was once like this man, completely eradicated, unaware of my own patterns, unaware of. I just got word back from the manager. Unaware. All right, take three. So, when you're unaware of your own unconscious patterns and how energy in astrology takes place, it could be dangerous for a human psyche. It could be off putting, challenging, seen as mental distortions and disorders of the mind. But what we know, I mean, this is how I brought myself back from a mental breakdown many years ago. I knew by talking to some of my uncles, starting back with the rune. So, what that told me was, you're right. You know what? I have not been following my occult practices. Occult practices and faith bring you back to reality from times in your life that you have lost it. Knowing and being aware of how energy is going through the psyche and in your reality can help you navigate your life. Sorry, my monkey's looking at me funny. Gushan gave me this sweet monkey look. Can help you to navigate a better life, find purpose and meaning. It dives a lot deeper than just getting astrology readings. To me, I see it as a conversation with what I believe God to be, which is beyond all rational logic and thought of what we know God to be. It is something I cannot explain, but it's also everything and nothing at the same time, within and without. So, here we go. Number 7, blessed and sanctified by God. Spirit over matter. Understanding that spirit is over matter. Astrology is above our sky, right? It's in our sky. Number 7 in tarot is the Chariot card. Overcoming shadows that come from being hurt by love. Placing effort, placing effort into change, focusing on responsibility, the Chariot card. Now, how do you come back from the deranged or from hurt or from shadow energies, addictions, uh, negative unconscious patterns? Well, you dedicate some time to a responsibility, a routine. You get into a routine and it helps you fall back into line where you can handle yourself. Write down, observe your shadows, understand they come on these specific days. Why these specific days? Well, hell, look in the astrology or go to an astrologer. What is going on in the planets on these specific days? This is when you're having. So, I learned this about myself by a by a partner at work, a general foreman on the job, and it was when we were talking about another person. He had told me, "Do you recognize a pattern when this person behaves this way?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Well, is it always a specific time of the year?" And I said, "As a matter of fact, it is." He says, "Then it's something caused by a childhood trauma or something severe that happened in his life around this time." And so I took that further and I put that into what was in the planet at these times, what was in the sky at these times, what planets, where were they, how was the arrangement, etc., etc. So dedicating a little bit of effort and responsibility into real change is the chariot card energy. Now, with seven, we're dealing with seventh house in astrology, the bedroom, friends, partners, marriages, sexuality, contract, competitors, alliances, and desires. Now, we want to balance this energy, sattva. Sattva energy is about balance, refining for the good, being truthful in a peaceful way brings wisdom. What we have in the sky today at 9:30 a.m. is Saturn retrograde and Neptune retrograde conjunct on the descendant in Pisces, 7th house, Uttara Bhadrapada. Now I'm going to skip ahead to give you a gist of everything. What this represents is we have a powerful contrast in the sky because this energy is opposite Mars and Virgo, ascendant first house, Hasta Nakshatra. So we have a powerful contrast, one that leads into deep introspection, transformation, and rearranging our relationships and responsibilities. This can bring challenges that demand honesty and accountability more than anything. This may dissolve current partnerships or relationship patterns that don't align with your highest potential, but simultaneously heal past karmic patterns within your unconscious by giving resolutions to the situation. It's good to state or reinstate your boundaries today to refrain from falling back into unhealthy habits or falling for illusions, what we had outside. Drug induced illusions, manic illusions. If you're like me, you pay attention to the deranged because you can get a very deep look into the psyche of the whole. Okay? Repressed hidden things in the whole. Okay, today's a good day for meditation to see beyond the material plane and gain spiritual insight. Because this opposite energy of Mars is bringing the energy of assertiveness and attention to detail while focusing on practical matters. So you see the contrast? Going within for spiritual matters, opposite, paying attention to detail and focusing on practical physical activities and matters. So you're probably like on the cusp, right? You're probably like going, I need to do this, I need to do that, right? Here's the problem. You might develop a strong sense of yourself today, overinflated ego, and your approach to life from your impulsiveness and temper. Okay, so what's happening is Saturn and Neptune are telling you, let's go within, let's take today easy, and let's relax. And Mars is over there saying, no, 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 I gotta get busy. I've got this to do. I've got that to do. I've gotta get that. Anyways, and this is giving you a very hot temper. These two energies contrasting each other. Saturn's a powerful planet. Mars is a very bold and fiery planet. So it can cause conflict within yourself. Hence, that's why you notice in people today a very strange behavior. Those who are addicts and drink too much or take drugs or dependent on any form of substances, even prescriptions, and things that alter the mind today are going to have outbursts because they don't know how to handle this energy. Okay, so it's very hard. Now, normal people on a normal everyday life don't know how to handle this energy. So, what they tend to do is mask it. So, this is where spiritual narcissism and spiritual ego can come into any situation, right? Just block and deflect rather than be honest with oneself and understand yes, we do all, as long as we live, have shadows. They are things that we do not dwell on, but we balance with the energy. How do we understand the energy? Well, you can be an astrologer, a deep meditator, work with a psychologist, journal, go back and take notes, write your patterns, whatever it is. Do not bypass your truths. What happens when you spiritually bypass your shadows? You project them onto everyone. Every, I could give so many examples, but I'm not going to. You can project those, that's kind of projecting. You can project your shadows onto others when you're spiritually bypassing. This is the energy of, no, that never happens to me. Nothing ever, there is no shadow existing within me. I am above the Almighty. I am divine in all orders. And that's spiritual bypassing. And I don't call it to poke fun at it. I call it because it is a serious issue. Spiritual bypassing your shadows causes more problems in your life. So, today's a good day to go into your shadows and understand what they are, where they come from. Bring them to acknowledgement. Acknowledge them, and then watch the universe. If you're in alignment with the universe will reflect the, what do we say together over here? It will reflect in your reality the reward and gains from the insight of acknowledging your own shadows, okay? And it's not like this universe reality we have is going to punish or praise you in any way. It is a mirror, okay? It is a mirror. So I move right, screen moves left, right? It's just, it's just a mirror, cause and effect. Okay, so in your reality, if you bypass, well, it's also going to mirror your bypassing. Okay, so that's all we're dealing with here today in the astrology. And now I'm gonna pull some cards. Let me put this away. I could go into like, I did write it all out, but I do that just because it helps me to channel the information as I go through. It helps me meditate, soothe, calm. Um, Before writing any of today's energy, I wrote my dream. All right, my dream is my dream. It's my personal privacy. Then I wrote down all of the occult significance and astrological alignments, and I saw the mirror reflection of my dream. So there's no bypassing there. I work with my own and I share the information for others to work with their own as well. No one is better than another here. So, what we got is Saturn retrograde represents times of introspection and reevaluation of commitments, responsibilities, and the structures in your life. It's a time to review your long term goals and address any limitations or fears holding you back. Refine your foundations for the future. Neptune retrograde. Further introspection with the potential for delusional fantasies dreams, ideas, and perceptions of realities. A time to reassess your ideas and confront any illusions or fears we may be holding back. And balance or heighten and balance our heightened sensitivity to energy. So this comes from empathic energy, right? Because Neptune is a very empathic planet. Okay, when it's retrograde, empaths like myself are very heightened to sensitive energies, right? So this means that I don't need to be near you to feel you. And it's funny when I hear empaths that speak of being able to block this energy from affecting them. I know it's complete bullshit. Because if there was a way, I would have found it by now. Empaths, especially during Neptune retrograde, are susceptible to energy. You're going to have to learn how to balance it. There's no stopping it, but there is Tai Chi balancing it, right? Like working with knowing the occult, knowing the breath work, knowing the meditation, knowing the crystals and the releasing, right? So I see that as also spiritual bypassing. You're not blocking or what do they call that? Impervious to it. Like you're bypassing that it does affect you, or you don't have empathic abilities. You may be an empathetic person, but empathic abilities are like animals in the wild. We have these sensations for survival. There is no blocking it because it would be just as the same as an animal blocking danger or sensing something ahead. An empath has these abilities to navigate their life. So when we do feel the energy, it is a warning to shift and walk the other way. So there is no bypassing, or there is no, it does not affect me. Then you are not empathetic. You are not an empath. You may be empathetic. There is a difference. Today, you might have heightened emotional intensity, sensitivity to energy, and you might question your own motives and desires. This is Piscean energy, empathetic, sensitive, psychic, spiritual, dependent, and reserved. Also imaginative, creative, and possibilities for delusional, aloof, and avoidant behavior. Okay, descendant energy is endings or other people, specifically how we relate to others in relationships, partnerships, and collaborations. Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra energy represents spiritual growth, detachment, wisdom gained from detachment, and focus on inner change and spiritual pursuits. Deep intuition, empathic nature, and charitable desires. The spiritual warriors are the Uttara Bhadrapada. I've already talked about altogether. Mars in Virgo is very assertive, very on point. Let's do this, move, action, right? In Virgo, it's very scientific and practical, paying attention to detail, but it could lead towards anxiety, right? That anxiety with Mars in the first house in Asta Nakshatra can represent the potential for impulsive, fiery temper. So it's time for you to balance this energy, and I will pull some cards for you. Before we do, let me just put away my notes. Okay, so I was holding this in my hand because it seems very loud when I put it here. The moon today says, don't be too hard on yourself. So the moon from my co-star. That's where I get. Look at how significant it is. Don't be so hard on yourself. Just learn to balance these energies. Okay. All right, and let's pull some cards. Start with an oracle. Yesterday, when I was driving or riding with someone else driving, I saw a license plate that said Hermes. And then at that moment, Hermes is the messenger of gods, right? So at that moment, my phone started blowing up with messages. So they were very healing, compassion, good friends, good messages. So expect signs from the divine. Oops. To help you through this time of transition. Wow. A lot came out, but only one came facing up. So let's go with that. All right, we've got warrior spirit and go with the flow at the bottom of the deck. Warrior spirit to begin. You are being called to show your unyielding will, where every conflict in life becomes a proving ground for your resilience. You must hold your ground no matter the external pressure. You already possess all the tools to fight this battle. Just trust in your abilities. You know, if there's one thing I do trust, it's my abilities. Whether or not trusting your abilities is like this. You know what you're reading. You know the energy you sense. Whether or not that person across from you will admit to that, it's not your problem. Trust what you feel, what you sense, what you read, and know. Trusting your abilities is what separates warriors from sheep. And go with the flow. This would be the Mars energy, right? And what's contrasting? Saturn and Neptune and Pisces energy. Go with the flow. You're being called to go with the flow. Holding on too tightly can exhaust the spirit. While letting go is a gesture of trust in the universe, the more you attempt to control, the more you miss out on the surprises that life naturally brings. Funny thing today. I mean, this came from an Instagram reel that I think a friend sent to me. I don't know why I checked it. This morning, what is missing in our world is that those times of nothing, right? Back in the days when you had a heightened event, like I'm going to rationalize it by work and weekends, right? For me, in construction, I had Saturdays and Sundays off. So Friday meant, cool, let's go to a movie with the family, go out to eat, hang out at a park, have a great time, maybe a barbecue, right? Saturday morning, let's go to the lake or fishing, or let's go do something that is relaxing and away from the chaotic world, right? Those are heightened quality times, right? Because it was postponed a whole week in the making, right? Well, in between, before cell phones, there was no constant stimulation, constant dopamine highs. Likes, share, subscribe, notify. Wow, wow, wow. This is neat. Right? This has dumbed down and nulled out anything positive in our lives? Have you find it hard to connect to anything anymore? A lot of spiritual bypass comes from not acknowledging this. You may be on the go so much that you forgot what it was like to rest and downtime and recall your energy. Feel that body relax, rest, and recuperate. Did you know that in bodybuilding, the body grows when it's resting, not when it's working out? Muscles grow when they have time to rest. So too is the brain. I mean, it's all fat, right? But it's still a muscle in a sense. We work it out, it needs its rest to recuperate. Why else do you think the entire world is dealing with so much emotional trauma? Because they cannot stop avoiding it. You have to find some time. Tea tree oil is calling me. Wow, that's weird. It wasn't even open. You might want to work with tea tree oil. Here, have a sniff. Can you smell tea tree oil? Write in the comments if you smell anything. So, without any cards, here we go. Have you taken the time to give your mind muscle a break? Or are you on a constant dopamine high or fix? When you have a dopamine fix, you can never find a moment's peace unless something is drawing you, pulling you, keeping you locked into some kind of wow, extravagant sensation. So let's pull some cards and see how this goes. A lot of information coming through today. That's how it works. You can't heal with a shave and a haircut and a 2-second meme. You can go through 2 million 2-second memes and never retain anything from any of them, but be hypnotized and agendas implanted from them all. Because what is the all? Of course, why does the world have so much ADD? Because corporations have made it a fact to keep your mind ever chasing the squirrel. Only you're on a hamster wheel, and the squirrels will never, you'll never catch them. So, what do the cards have to say? Go with the flow and your warrior spirit. Both of them say trust your abilities. Okay, you're not seeing the bigger picture here. I may not be seeing the bigger picture here, but I'm reading cards for all of us as a collective. You're not recognizing the strength that you have built and the resilience that you have built. You're resisting. Oh, okay, here we go. You're not seeing the bigger picture here. You must observe the wounds in life. Stop bypassing them with dopamine fixes. Okay. Also, you got a lot of inverts today. Also, you're refusing to walk away from situations that have no meaning. Okay, and what does that result in? Trapping you in frustration, feeling bound to situations that plague the mind. Okay, so this is the energy that I'm showing you, the contrast. So whether or not you take the time to do this, here we go. We are facing it for you in this video. Reflection. Okay, so as the cards come out, I can tell you are someone who avoids this at all costs. You may avoid this with social engagement after social engagement after social engagement. Then, when there's no more social engagements, social media engagements. And then, when you have to put the phone down, taking some kind of drug or something or medication to put you to sleep. Is this true? Because you're not facing the situation, so you're staying bound in the anxiety of it. You must put away the distractions. Today's a good day to do that. I know it's hard to meditate when, you know what the funny thing is, people look at me like I'm preaching from a place of not knowing. I have been there. I struggled with ADHD. I struggled with chasing after everything. When I had a family, when my family was growing up, it was work, side jobs, side hustles, uh, illegal side hustles, anything I could do. Also pursuing every type of advancement I could get, attending college, attending this, going to school for plumbing, going to school for construction management, getting degrees, getting certificates, getting licenses. Still had my wife, still had to please her, cater to her, always be the better, upper, higher, one up man in a relationship so you don't lose the relationship. So I know all of these things very well. It took me a long time to put my mind back together. I did everything from writing with my left hand for a whole month, every morning, at least one paragraph, trying to reach one page of writing things I wanted to release with my left hand so that it would shock my unconscious mind to remember. Meditation, nature walks, mantras, affirmation, sleep hypnosis. So I understand I'm not projecting and I'm not coming at you with any kind of shit that I have not been through. So this is how I can tell when people spiritually bypass and avoid what they're truly dealing with. I'm an empath, I can feel it. No, people don't have to say it, I can feel it instantly. So let's see why you're avoiding this. Because you're very competitive. You're competitive, jealous, gossipy. Five of Wands. Page of Cups. Page of Wands inverted. The Empress. You're competitive, jealous, gossipy, and you want it all. You want the lavish life. You want things, you want to attract everything to yourself. So, this is what you're putting off. Here again, I am reading cards for a collective, talking about unconscious, maybe unaware, or unspoken patterns, honest truth about your unhealthy, unfavorable patterns. So you avoid all of this because you have spiteful energy towards others. You may want what they have, relationship wise. You may want to be the type of person. Page of Cups is very flirty but non committal. Page of Swords inverted is very gossipy and nosy. You like to spy on others, maybe through apps or false social media accounts or whatever. I can't remember the passwords for my one social media account. So how could I remember 30 of them? Forget it. All of this to live a life of luxury that is beyond your means, Empress. Only reason Empress reads like that in the reading is because of the other cards on the table. They have significance. Living beyond your means can really make life hard for you. Okay. You are about to meet some very not pleasing information, and it's coming in fast. Brutal. Brutal and vicious. Very off with their head. Queen of Swords inverted. And Eight of Wands coming in very fast. Probably a heated conversation that needs to be spoken is coming to your midst. Remember, I'm reading for a collective. I am being the mirror of the collective. Also, these messages probably pertain to my own life too. Betrayal is trying to come back at you. Okay? Ten of Swords inverted. Why is it betrayal coming back? Because Queen of Swords inverted, Eight of Wands, Ten of Swords inverted. This interaction is someone who betrayed you in the past looking to come back to try and start another battle. You're avoiding this for some reason. Both of you seem to be very competitive, very jealous. You spy, or there is spies or gossip being spread around you because you're both projecting that you live a life that you truly don't. It's beyond your means. You've been putting this off for too long, or the universe could be coming to you today to say, hey, we see you. You're going to have to deal with this. Why? Because you are out of balance financially and you're not being reasonable with your walks of life. So let's get some clarifier cards. Divine Feminine Spirit is coming to step in. The Empress. This would be to help the Empress. Why? Because it comes after this. The Divine Mother. Remember, Ten of Swords reversed was on the bottom. Look out. Something you're avoiding is coming back. You're going to have to deal with it this time. You can't put this off with social engagements and being flashy, living beyond your means. It's time to literally end some situations, some relationships in your life that keep you trapped in this hostile energy. The whole group is acting very jealous and gossipy. Okay? And all that does is show a greedy nature. We don't want that for you. Nobody wants to live in that kind of energy. Balance it. Meditation. Masculine energy is meditation. Masculine energy is sitting in calmness while the storm is going around you. Feminine energy is the storm. Has nothing to do with genders. Okay. Magician, how can we create from this? Remember, we are gaining from these unfavorable, unconscious habits and patterns. So we have the first one, near, coming soon. You're making plans to ride out on a new venture. This is very confident energy, and also you have the support of others to move forward. So there's a destination in mind. This could be a person, place, thing, or school, job, career, relationship, whatever. You're looking towards something. You have a goal, right? You're being shown as having support where you are now, seeing where you want to go, and preparing the wand, the walking stick, to take the new journey. You are supported by your local community and seen very brave for taking on this adventure. Confidence is the key. Okay, it's time to ground some things into reality. Put away for the long run. Think ahead. Impulse buys. We all have Amazon Prime on our phone. No, We don't need that new whatever. No, that next book isn't going to do anything for you until you finish the one you have. I'm sorry. If you're not getting spiritual insight from the deck of tarot cards you already have, you're not going to get it from the next one. Put that money from your impulse buys into a savings account that you're not allowed to touch. See how far that gets you. That'll get you really far. You heard of motorcycle validation. Now we're creating. Now we are growing. Masculine energy, the power to begin creation. The power to begin creation came by building a foundation, putting money away, no more impulsively buying, planning ahead, Two of Wands, taking the steps forward, Six of Wands, Four of Pentacles, saving the money you earn from little things like tarot readings, right? Drum workshops, putting that money away, donations given, saving that money for the future is how you grow in life. Okay, by doing this, you are able to release the burdens of others. Now, in the past, the other deck, you had all that competitive bullshit going on in your life, right? You're putting it down. After this reading, once you have stayed through this reading, and you see the mirror of reality, you see the reflection of what you're truly hiding inside and not dealing with, you get the confidence to make the moves forward to start growing and building. You're able to put down all the bullshit that's holding you back and claim your own authority. Use your wisdom, use your intellect, use your occult knowledge, which is faith combined with knowledge. Gnosis and agnosis at the same time. Alchemy. Don't delay. What's in your near future is a solid foundation with a fruitful reward. This card indicates beginning of a marriage or spiritual union, 1111, cornerstones and fundamentals of life, a starting ground. You buy maybe a piece of land and you put up a small motor home at first or modular home at first, and then you build your bigger house. You know, you get the metaphorical picture. Don't delay, because this is what's coming. The cornerstone of your future. Committed lovers. Get out of that circle of people who is full of, you know what I'm talking about, and settle down in a committed situation. But remember, you have some steps to take before you even realize that that's a quality for you. The Hangman card in reverse. Finding enlightenment, finally seeing from another person's point of view, perspective. See how people truly see you, the mirror, rather than you looking in the mirror. This is the mirror. This is you seeing the mirror for the truth, right? This is an entire mirror reality around your existence. Strumming my pain with his finger, flipping my life with his cards, killing me softly with this story, but it is brutal. Honesty. This is the truth. Here we go. Now you have the beginning of truth in your life for the first time in who knows how long. You can carry this sword even though it stings. It is the needed seed to start living a more honorable and truthful life. Seeing life for what it is, not what you want it to be anymore. what the truth is. Isn't that healing? Here is the nurture from an empath, the healing, that cup of pure, sacred, divine water that quenches and nourishes the soul. Very feminine in nature. Again, feminine doesn't have to be a gender thing, it's a energy. After this truth and this new insight that, wow, you see finally clearly, you are hearing the truth and it may have hurt. And actually, I could feel it in my heart as I speak it to you. I can feel this reading has affected you. I can feel that you have found healing from this. And that was what it is intended for. Putting your psyche and heart back in alignment together, because they have been thrown off and taken for a ride. And now, restoring balance. Restoring balance for works you have done in the past that are charitable and good natured for those around you starts to come in and help you to live in your light and move forward, making progress with others who are inspired by your action. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm going to call this one Truth in Plain Sight. Be well.